things rarely went right for Molly Blind Deaf. So when she got an invitation from one of her best friends to a masquerade charity ball that was being held on the one night off she had marked on her calendar for the entire month, she felt like someone else's good fortune must have been misaddressed to her. But she wasn't sure where the lost and found of abstract concepts was located, so she happily texted back an RSVP and set immediately to repairing the little bear-shaped purse that would match perfectly with the fancy dress she kept safe in her closet. It was probably a bit small on her now, but with leggings underneath and an adjustment to the sleeves, it would work. She didn't need to look perfect anyway. Just a night to spend with her friends was more than she'd ever dare to ask for to begin with. As Molly scrubbed at the walls, her phone on the counter buzzed, jolting her out of her thoughts.
Molly, why are you still awake?
Haha.
I thought your shop closed already. You ought to be asleep. Yeah, it did, but I still gotta clean up. Quentin drew on the walls in permanent marker again. I'll go to bed soon. Promise.
Molly put away her phone with a tired smile. She appreciated having someone who cared, at least. 2 people, in fact.
I hope Trixie is there, too.
Molly mumbled to the 2 toys sitting next to the register. They didn't respond, as usual.
I'll bet Feeney sent us the invites separately in case one of us couldn't come, but I really want to know. It's been forever since all 3 of us got to hang out, outside of school.
It kind of sucked that the 2 people who cared a whit about her well-being weren't the 2 family members that were still alive, though.
No.
Molly sighed and shook her head. That was too harsh. She wished they were around more often, but they were coping in their own ways. Lorelei was busy with a ton of holiday parties lately, which was better than wrecking the shop carelessly with her epithet. And her dad, well, at least he was still making toys, and a lot of them for the holiday season. Teddy bears with little red suits, green holiday trains that ran on wooden tracks, and an overabundance of tiny glass figurines. Everything from ballerinas dancing on sugar plums to rabbits that gazed peacefully out the store window displays. Those sold particularly well, and Martin just kept making more, not in any particular order or fashion, but with enough abundance that Molly kept the shelves well stocked for the toy store's best season of the year. In fact, one could reasonably say that the winter solstice kept the Blind Deaf Toy Emporium alive. And it was due to that fact that Molly should have realized her small bout of luck couldn't withstand the overwhelming power of the holiday rush. Molly Wally Doodle all the way blind deaf! The little bare-hooded girl turned around from ringing up the horde of screaming children who, from what she gathered from their back and forth with the parents, were supposed to be buying presents for their cousins and were not happy about the fact they couldn't keep any of them.
Yes?
She asked with as bright a smile as she could manage, still counting out change for the dad, who was making very half-hearted attempts at shushing the children while talking on the phone. Martin stumbled into the store from the back, precariously balancing boxes with the word FRAGILE scribbled on the side in permanent marker, and began to restock the front display. Can you man the store tomorrow? These little figurines have been selling like toys for the winter solstice, which is what they are! Ha! Thanks, sweetie!
Wait!
Molly barely managed to get in as he ducked out into the back, but something in her stomach was already sinking horribly fast. She'd been in this situation a million times before. When Martin asked for something, he never waited for an answer. And even if she said no, he wouldn't listen, and her sister would hear about it, and then... The mom tapped on the register sharply, motioning for Molly to hurry up. She seemed as sick of the kids as Molly was, and while Molly tried to smile as she handed over the bag of toys, she felt ready to throw up. Tomorrow. Hot tears began to blur her vision as she waved the crowd away, but she held them back. Tomorrow was the one day she'd been looking forward to. Just one day to relax and go do something fun for herself for a change. Was she asking too much? Was it so wrong of her to want this one day this season to feel like an actual holiday? No, she had to think positive. It was dark outside already. They were the last customers. She'd close up shop on time tonight. And she'd already reshelved everything during the slow hours, so there was nothing left to stock. And Quentin wasn't there today, so there wasn't anything to clean. She could actually finish her algebra homework and then go to bed early for once. It wasn't so bad. Not really. The little girl reached into her backpack behind the counter and pulled out a sheet of homework, clicking open a pen and writing her name at the top of the paper. Her cheeks grew warm as the trails teared down, splattering against the worksheet. She was furious, but she didn't have the energy left to be furious, so instead she was just sad. It was her own fault for believing things could actually go her way. Well, maybe she never actually thought that. Maybe she'd just been fooling herself all along because having something to look forward to made the hard times easier. Either way, it didn't matter. It was still her fault that it stung this badly. Numbers and letters blurred together in front of her as she carried the X, crossed out the Y. Homework was normally pretty easy compared to filing taxes, but tonight her brain was swirling so much she couldn't even stay focused on the problems as a respite from her thoughts. Which is why she didn't even notice when, not for the first time, she began to slump over in the plastic chair she kept at her desk, vision dimming into nothingness as the worn fabric of her sleeves cushioned her head and sent her off to sleep. And from somewhere above her rang the tinkling of a bell.